Facebook page. Doggone it, coming to you live on a Wednesday evening is none other than me, Brother Fonz, and a host of others. Now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're doing something really, really new. So you're going to have to give us some grace and your patience. I have 9 dynamic gentlemen from our community, and we're going to sit and we're going to talk about a few things, brotherhood and all kinds of good stuff. But I want to bring them on individually. Now, to my viewers, I want you to come on. I want to meet and greet you. I said the room is full. Guests is trying to join. They're trying to join. They better get into the chat section. Okay, so with that being said, my viewers, I want you to come on. If you got any questions, comments, feel free to click it in and we will put you onto the screen. So ladies and gentlemen, our first panelist, I'm going to let him introduce himself and we're going to go around the horn. Oh, wait a minute, now I can't hear you.
We all good, Fonz, my bad.
All right, go ahead.
I'm John Allen. I'm the boys basketball coach. I'm here as the boys basketball coach of the high school team, but so much more in the community and just trying to help out with any way that I can. My
man, the worst employee I ever had right there, John Allen, ladies and gentlemen. Who do we got next?
My name is Anthony Hogart, concerned parent.
All right, that's enough. That's a job enough right there. Parent. All right, who do we have next? We got Double Doobie right here. Come on, talk to me. Introduce yourself to the viewers.
What's up, Fonz? How y'all doing in the community? I'm Vincent Miles Jr. I'm the public affairs representative for the city of Coatesville, and I'm sitting here with my guy Mike Boykin, three-time Hall of Famer for the city of Coatesville, Coatesville High. We representing Coatesville today.
Good stuff, good stuff. Hey, Donna, it says guests are trying to. Donna, did you have problems getting in? She said, hey, Vincent, and I got this screen that keeps saying it's full. I don't know if that means people can't come on the chat because I'm only allowed 9 people on here, which I got. So, like I said, we're going to find out about this thing together. Guest is trying to join. Donna is the only one that sees, and Steve Rowe is on. So that means people can get on. Who do we have next?
Hey, Fonz.
Oh, man, he is just too, he's smooth as buttermilk, this guy.
Hey,
hi, Fonz.
My name is James Logan. I'm the Coatesville City Manager, and great to be here this evening.
All right, thank you. Hey, Steve Rowe, you have checked in, man. This is like 3 days in a row. Steve, me and you getting ready to be best friends, man. I appreciate you. And John, he has been really speaking highly of you. Evidently, he doesn't know you like everybody else does. Okay. Donna said, hey, Mr. Logan. You didn't say hi to me, but that's okay. Who do we have next, ladies and gentlemen?
Hey, this is Pastor Eric Robertson here in Coatesville representing Love My Town 19320. Good to see everyone tonight.
Man, look. And if you don't know that he loves the city, you've been sleeping under a rock. Them guys is in everything but a hearse. Who we got here next?
What's up? Good evening, Fonz. Good evening to everyone watching virtually. My name is Charles Ricky Campbell, and I'm here. I am the connector to the community. If you want to call me anything or any type of title. No titles here, just I'm here tonight.
All right, it's good to have you, Mr. No Title himself, man. I love that guy, man. I'm telling you. Who we got here?
Hey, how y'all doing? Steve Kirk, president of Scott Field Project. I see Mike Boykin up there, just with him in the gym, and vice president of CKR, Coatesville Kid Raiders, our youth football organization in Coatesville.
Good. Let's see who we got coming up next. Oh, man, Josh, man, we can't hear you. Can you sign language? Oh, man. That is crazy. Josh, we're going to get back to you. I don't know what happened. Man. It was all good a minute ago. Who we got last but not least down here at the bottom? Come on, introduce yourself.
How you doing? This is David Phillips. Appreciate the ad. How everybody doing out there? I'm here as a community activist / painter, but just here to see what we can do in the community for these kids that's coming up.
Good enough, good enough, good enough. Well, and oh geez, most of y'all know me. I'm fine. I ain't nobody special. Okay, we got all these people. Now I'm gonna see if I can get these guests because we have about 20 people. Okay, it won't let me evidently in the chat section here on here, but I do see we have Stephen Rowe, we got Linda Lavender Norris, we got Shannon Kirk, of course, who's watching, has checked in. So I'm going to try and work this thing on my phone. And you keep trying to get some volume in there, Josh.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
Yep.
so whatever you did, Josh, don't touch
That's
nothing,
it,
don't
Josh.
move,
That's
don't
it.
do nothing. Hey, man, first I want to say good evening to y'all. Sonora checked in. I'm feeling better about this experiment. And she said hello to everyone. Every once in a while, I do want to put stuff up on the screen. Be patient with me. I've never had 9 people on at one time. I'm new at this software, and I think we're going to have a great evening. Deshane Jackson checked in. Ducky Parker. This has to be a special panel if Ducky is tuned in. He tunes in on special occasions, and evidently this is one. Pastor Byron Craig, come on, man, come on. That's my pastor right there. My pastor, after my pastor, Mary Kyle. She says, I'm here. I can hear. I shared. Mary, I appreciate you. Brother Cass Rowland has checked in. So things are rolling. So what I'm going to do now is I want to start off talking to Mr. James Logan. I'm going to tell you why. Last year or the year before, James has been talking about Brotherhood. See, James Logan, he's from the left coast, back there in the Black Panther days and all that kind of stuff. So he knows a lot about Brotherhood. So I want to know and hear his heart and vision for why he thought this was important for us to talk about in our community. Come on, James.
Well, again, thank you, Fonz, for allowing all of us to be part of this program tonight. As you mentioned, yeah, I had a conversation with you and Ricky, actually, if you guys remember back in the office there, Ricky. And I had shared with you guys a kind of a concept called Bring Back Brotherhood. And really, it's just something that, growing up as a kid in the Bay Area, there was a lot of things that were happening in our community, a lot of violence, but there was also a lot of love. And there were people around that when they saw the young men and predominantly young Black men in the communities just kind of, falling at the wayside of violence, just crime on crime, gunshots, I mean, you name it, it was just happening in the area. We never really looked at it as a violent place until we kind of stepped away from it. And one of the things I just remember as a kid, there was always someone there, either an uncle or somebody in the neighborhood a little bit older than me that would always say, you got potential. Don't get caught up in the game. Don't get caught up, on the streets because you have a lot of potential. And, I wasn't really hearing that when I was a kid because, like most kids, you think you know everything. And it wasn't until I was in high school and, without going into detail, I kind of got into a little trouble. And I had this teacher that said, you have so much potential, but you're just letting it, just slip away. And that summer, things changed for me. I just started working out more, started playing ball, started hanging in the right crowd, even though, some of my friends were still doing, their thing. I was just looking at myself, my personal growth. And it was the network of people that I started to associate myself, coaches, mentors, going to church, asking people questions, how they got to where they are, and what did they do to get their education. So for me, it just became more of this kind of thirst and desire to do better. And I didn't have a whole lot of people to help me do better. So I was just challenging myself day after day. So from that, getting older and seeing that some of our communities don't change, I often wondered, if there was just a group of young men or older men that can just reach back down to the young kids and just say, look, why can't we mentor them? Why can't we tell our stories? Or why can't we just let them know that in your community, and let's just say Coatesville, right here in Coatesville, there's 8 people on this show tonight that I'm sure are willing to reach out and to help kids, whether you know them on a personal level or you just met them today. I'm sure everybody here is willing to reach out and just part some knowledge, part some wisdom with the kids. Some of us are athletes, some of us are poets, some of us are great fathers, some of us are leaders. We have everything a young person needs right here and right here in this community. And for me, bringing back brotherhood is kind of the mantra of saying, we can do it. We can do it with the brothers here in the community, and let's just bring it back. Let's start, let's just start with just saying hi to one another sometimes. When you're walking up and down the street, just say, hey, what's up? That's all it takes. That's the first thing. Looking a man in the eye and just saying, hey, what's up? And that's what bringing back brotherhood is all about.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. Now, I think we need to hear from the other panelists. What do you guys consider brotherhood? I want to find out what is your definition of community brotherhood, and we're going to expand on that and find out, do you feel that there is a breakdown in brotherhood? And this kind of like tease this out. So jump right in. We don't need nobody to, I know half the people on here are preachers, so we won't be needing long soliloquy and stuff like that. I frowned on having Josh and Pastor Eric on, but twisted my arm. I said, okay. And then Ricky's a deacon, so that doesn't help. And for those of you on the panel, you've seen what Steve sent us via email. We really don't want him to talk a lot. But look, ladies and gentlemen, jump in and let's find out what your idea of community is. And it's recording.
Hey, Fonz, I'll go first. For me, it's we all have our own thing going on, right, in the community, and we all want the youth to be a part of that. Me, from the basketball perspective. So what I really believe is that it's us supporting each other, right? Us supporting each other in each project that we have, or anything that we have going on. And I believe that the panelists here have done a good job in that, but that's probably not enough, right? We have to look to bring in not only youth, but other adults into others' projects that they have going on. And that's when you create, brotherhood, community, and more support brings on more brotherhood. So from me, that's all it is. It's just us supporting each other in our own special projects and coming together as one.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Come on, somebody else jump in. Don't make me have to pick y'all like we in school.
Hey, I'll jump right in. Right in. I know I sent the email. You saw what it said, but from my perspective is we need to stop complaining so much about what's going on and start coming up with the solutions about how we can handle these things. Let's stop taking little tidbits of everything that's wrong in our community, right? And then if everybody just picked a little something that they could come up with a solution with, we'd be much better off. And to me, it's not a mystery of what's been going on. Don't mistake my passion for aggression tonight, but I'm very passionate about what I do in this community with these football players. And to me, it's hitting home because it's been mainly football players that have been hit hard in our community. And I don't know. I know I'm a football coach with 9U, and I know I do a lot of things for the community, but we should not be enabling or allowing any athlete, regardless of what their potential is, to push through without accountability. And also, like, what are you doing to give back to our community? It starts from the ground up. And I believe that if we all come together with the youth and start it early, it'll be a much better picture for us later on in life. You know what I mean? And that's just what I've been experiencing, and it's hit home, directly home with me in the last year.
Man, I love that. I love that. Now, wait a minute. I want to take a second because we want to definitely recognize our viewers, because that's why we're on. We're not really on here for us. We're here for the people that are tuning in. Club King is watching. Now, you know this is special because he makes money all the time. He's always filming and doing what he do. I appreciate you. Jennifer Rosado, Kim Watson, Tyrone Ricks from Trent Life. I'm saying Trent Life or Trent Trio Life, one of them lights. Laura Kenworthy. Who else we got? Kendra Wilson checked in. Abu Rakia, Kim Watson, with Johnette Crutchfield, Dave Engler, people that really has never been on my show is on the show. Evidently, they think what we are about to do is important. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Now, if you have any kind of questions or comments, I'm going to try and get them on the screen. Feel free to say it. I'm going to stay here as long. Man, Pastor Anderson, my main man, Pots and Two Pans from Philly is on here. I love this guy, man. He's one of the most passionate Eagle fans that we got. But that's besides the point. Okay, now, Steve, you know I love you, man. I love your passion. Hey, Steve's on my show, too. He almost had me crying. That's besides the point. Who I got next? Jump right on and tell me what you think about Brotherhood, Community Brotherhood. Come on, talk to me.
Hey, Brother Fonz, I could take it over from here. This is Vince talking. So, Steve, you had mentioned accountability, and that's one of the things that I thought about when approaching the situation was Brotherhood to me is like judgment-free accountability, right? So, like, I have an awesome representation of that right next to me, right?
I already know.
Mike is he's like an accountability partner for me, right? So, like, whenever I'm feeling down, he's there to pick me up. Whenever he's feeling down, I'm there to pick him up. So it's really just to hold each other accountable throughout all the levels that we're going to. So yeah, I'm gonna just keep it brief and simple.
I would say for me, because for one, it's good to see everyone. This is just like I'm getting excited just being here. Two, I would say just spending time with each other. I think we can go. How are we going to get each other accountable if we don't spend time with each other? How are we going to get these kids accountable if we don't spend time with them? You know, in the last 3 years I've been coaching, that's one of the things that it's been working for me is just simply spending time listening to each other. You know, how are we going to elevate if I don't know who you are really? So I'm going to keep it brief. That's it.
Man, this is some good stuff, man. I got chills going all up and down my long sleeve shirt, man. I'm telling you, I'm feeling pretty good. There's some people ain't said nothing yet.
Hey, Fonz.
I know y'all.
I'm just listening, Fonz.
Talk to me.
This Pastor Eric here, and I know we do too much. but listen, I want to chime in really quick.
Loose, man. Let it loose.
I want to chime in really quick, and let me set it up this way. I got a chance to here at Tavis Smiley some years ago in person. He had come to when I was in corporate America. He came to where we were, and he said something that was profound that I just remember to this day. And he said that the measure of a man is not how much he accumulates, but how much he gives back. And what I want to add to that is I believe brotherhood is not only men who are willing to give back, but there is a camaraderie, there's a fellowship. And with brotherhood, it doesn't matter what you're doing versus what I'm doing, and you know how much you're doing more than I have. It's really not about the materialism of culture and the way we put it, but it is just us coming together to support one another. And I think I've heard that tonight. But for us, man, just this brotherhood is us coming together no matter what's going on, whether you're doing it or someone else is facilitating it. It is us being able to support one another. And so I usually measure brotherhood, man. I need to look at how much a person is giving back, because it's easy to accumulate and leave. But when you start to discover it, it's about what you are giving back, how much you are given to the places that you grew up and where you live.
Hey, Kim Watson got something on the screen. She said, not only do we need these groups on the panel and the viewers, let's try to include our youth. Well, that is the plan, Kim. You can rest assured that this is just the beginning, because we understand without the children at the table, We just doing this stuff in vain. So rest assured that that's going to happen. Now, there's about 3 of y'all, 4 of y'all that haven't said anything yet. I know y'all holding back. Pastor Eric, I appreciate your brevity. And Josh, I see you biting your lip. We have Providence Church, Bridge Academy, and all them other basketball teams that you do, Seaville for Life and all that stuff. Come on, talk to me, Josh.
I think Brotherhood is just showing up for one another. It's more than just accountability when we fall, but it's holding each other to a higher standard. It's helping these young people see beyond themselves, see beyond, like, what are they shooting for? There's something greater than themselves that we need to, place in front of them and give them something to shoot for. And, but I think it starts with the men in this city, taking up the mantle and setting an example and a standard for the young people to follow. It takes fathers being involved in their kids' lives and being back involved in their homes, and not just when sports season comes around, but when a kid needs homework, get help, and needs to pack his lunch for school. Yeah. And our kids, man, they need their dads. I know they need their moms. I'm not discrediting anything the moms do, but our young men especially need men in the community that are going to set a standard for them and be an example, and not just a positive role model, but an example to shoot for and live for, and to set a standard that not many men are living up to. And so many times we set a low bar for these kids, and so I think accountability is holding one another accountable as men, of saying, what are we doing to lead the way? You can't give what you don't have. And so how are we holding kids accountable when we're not willing to do it ourselves? And so, it starts from the top down. And so I think authenticity is what's going to reach the young people, and not authenticity of like, I'm trying to be relevant and I'm trying to be cool and I'm trying to fit in with the kids. But, it's so much more than that. And it's so much more than being a coach. It's so much more than being a mentor, so much more than being a dad. It's all the above. And holding these kids to a standard of saying, there's something greater than yourselves that's behind this. And you can be so much more than a rapper and a basketball player or a football player. And it's our involvement. And so we need to hold each other accountable before we hold the young people accountable. I could say a lot more, but you already told me to bite my lip. So
No, but we're going to get you. This ain't going to be the last time we meet. So you can just hold on to some of that good stuff. Come on, David Phillips. You good and well you ain't quiet. Now you trying to sit back like you shy brother from the 5 Heartbeats. What you got to say?
Josh says everything I want to say, but in the right way.
Just say it in your way. That's why we want you to be you.
That's brotherhood to me is it's accountability. It's listening without trying to come to a solution, without arguing. Like, everything doesn't have to be taken personal. It's too many of us men out here that don't get along with each other for various reasons. Most of them don't make sense. So before we go out here trying to change the youth, we got to change what we got going on with ourselves first. And that's being more reasonable with each other. Like everything somebody says to you isn't to harm you. Like, some stuff you're not going to like how it sounds, but if it's the right thing to do, then it's the right thing to do, whether it sounds good or not.
Thanks a lot. Hey, that's good stuff. Good stuff, Dave. Now I think I'm missing somebody. One of my favorite people on the planet, right here. None other than Ricky Campbell. Come on, Ricky, bring it on home.
All right, I'll try to bring it home. So basically, brotherhood and community to me is what I'm looking at on the screen. I'm looking at several very influential individuals who mold and shape the minds of our youth. And as I'm looking at y'all, that's what brotherhood is to me. A lot of people say, and we engage in the community, and everybody runs around, and people come up to me from time to time and they say, Ricky, we need a community center. What's going on with the community center? Why aren't they fixing the community center up? We need somewhere for the kids to go. I beg to differ. Brotherhood and community, I'm looking at it. The community center is Steve Kirk. The community center is Josh Prance. The community center is John Allen. The community center is Ricky Campbell. The community center is Pastor Eric. That is the community center. A lot of times, and we got pastors, so I'll use a pastor edifice on this. A lot of people say the church, meaning the building, is not the church. That's just the building that the people go and fellowship in, right? The church is the actual people. So for me, brotherhood and the community are the actual people. We don't need, would it be nice to have a community center? Of course, absolutely. But we don't need that because I'm looking at the community centers right here and each and every one of y'all on the screen. Steve is a community center in itself because he's molding and shaping the minds of the people who want to play football. John Allen, Tootie, is molding and shaping the minds of the older individuals in high school. You got Brandon Jacks, who is molding and shaping the minds of the young basketball people. You got Dov Saunders Bay with Children of Men, which I'm involved in, who is shaping the minds of the young people with the trades industry, involving a skill in their life. So to me, that's brotherhood, that's community. I'm looking at it right now. And you're right, Steve. We don't need to talk about the problems and issues. We can come together today, tonight, and even talk about how all of these influential people and all of these groups represented can come together and work together, because Josh has a following, Ricky Campbell has a following. We're all with these young people. But as we bring our young people together and assimilate under one umbrella, we're all one big community. So that's what it is to me.
Good stuff, man. All y'all added some real good stuff to this. This is a great start. I'm hyped right now, and so are the listeners. And speaking of listeners, let me tune in one more time and greet some of the new people that's just come on that we haven't heard. Cindy Outlaw, Mary McHale, Sheena Talton, Carolyn Jones, one of my favorite people. Diana, Darnell Gray, Kim Watson's going to be on here all night because she's been typing all kind of stuff. Deshana Chester, good evening. If you've been sleeping under a rock, we have 9 dynamic men here that are adding, they're bearing their souls in regards to brotherhood and things in regards to adding impact to our community. Not saying that there hasn't been or anything else. And let me add a disclaimer here. Because you see these men here, this isn't going to be the only panel. This isn't going to be the only people, because we have a city full of people who are contributors. So we want to reach out to everybody. We ain't trying to have no 9-man club. That ain't brotherhood. That's a crew. We want more than a crew. We want brotherhood. Now, that's just how Fonzarelli talks. Now, let me see. Now, we define brotherhood. Now,
hey, Fonz, can I interrupt you for a second?
No.
We haven't heard from Anthony yet. Anthony thought he was going to get by without saying anything.
Oh, you was up there. Come on, talk to us, Hope.
I mean, God pretty much nailed it, man. We talk about brotherhood, and as a kid growing up myself, I got to see older guys, right? So if we're not going to be a part of our community by being visible to these young men so they can see what a man looks like, how do we now continue to keep this brotherhood growing? Like, half of the brothers don't know what a man looks like. You know what I'm saying? So when I was a kid, we had community guys. We had respect for our old heads. So how now with our brotherhood, Josh, he nailed it. Rick nailed it. I see everybody on the panel, and I think this is a great start. And to your point, Fonz, we're going to get a lot more guys involved. I think a guy like Ricky Hicks is great for what we're doing, But I think brotherhood is the ideal of men being a part of something and being together to whereas we can strengthen our community to get it back to where it was.
Right. And Fonz,
yes, sir.
If I could just kind of piggyback on that, what Anthony is saying, getting the community back to, where it was or even better. One of the things that brotherhood does in a community is it restores the faith and the spirit of young Black men. And oftentimes in our communities, our self-confidence is down, our self-esteem is down, because we just don't, get enough of that commitment time, that confidence time. And it's always kind of like, you grow into this mindset that you will settle. And people in this community and anywhere, whether it's Coatesville or Oakland, you don't have to settle. Kim Watson, thanks for your comment about including the youth and looking at lay persons or laborers. I mean, we all are lay people here. As Ricky said a little bit earlier, we may have a title, but that title doesn't mean anything. I mean, at the end of the 5 o'clock whistle or whatever time you leave the office, we are all, laborers. We are all, lay people, and we're all men trying to come up. And I think one of the things that we have to do here is take, a comment that you have made and make that great, build on that. And I know that, and I hope that, from this particular, segment tonight, that we'll be able to get people to come out and do some great things. I talked to Dave Phillips about this last week, and Dave has a great idea, which I'm not going to steal his thunder, but he has a great idea to how to kind of keep this going on a more, intimate level and do it throughout, the city of Coatesville. And Ricky has some ideas to kind of keep this going. And then, Coach Allen, I mean, what he's doing with these basketball players is great, but it's not just about basketball. It's turning these athletes into men and saying to them, hey, you know what? You can be a great athlete, but you can also be a great student. You can also be a great businessman. You can also be a great musician. You have to look at the options. And what we have to do as leaders in this community is we have to show these kids the options. And I'm going to end with this kind of statement here. We all can wear a suit. And I'm wearing a suit right now, but it's what's in the suit that matters. Because a lot of our brothers are walking around today in a nice suit, but that suit is empty. And we have to stop, looking at guys. They look good, they look fly, but they're just an empty suit.
That is good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Man, where do we go from here, man? I'm full already, man. Okay, so now.
Can I piggyback off that real quick?
You sure can.
Look, I'm going to get right to it. This is what I've seen since 2017 when we started reaching the stadium and getting people involved. We have a 1.9 city, and I say city in between the bridges radius, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a different demographic than the suburbs. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then we have all these suburban people that want to come in with these booster clubs and start gaining on these popularity contests. It's not about that. It's about how much extra work are you going to do for the individuals who need it, right? Like we have people in position that are getting paid to do a job that necessarily, look, we get it, but we're different in Coatesville. You need to do a little more. It's not a 9 to 5. It's just not. And if you think you're doing a 9 to 5, you might as well go. And I'm not worried. Look, and I'm going to be real right now. And like I said in the beginning of this town talk, which I appreciate you inviting me on, but don't mistake my passion for aggression. I'm going to say it again. There's too many people boasting on social media about how the kitchen's getting redone and how their additions are getting redone and how this is getting done. Okay? We got some kids, man, that I deal with every single night that I pick up in my SUV that don't even understand that. And you don't think when they see it, they have some animosity about that? You don't think that they have some type of deep level listen, man, we a unique city, we a unique area. But if we ain't in touch with the heartbeat of this area, which is that 1.9 mile radius between the bridges. I see Josh down there. I see James. I see you, Fawn. I see Mike in the gym. I see all y'all. The problem I have is all the outside influences that say they doing something and they're not doing nothing.
Okay, look, I thank you for adding that. We're going to move on because we've gotten a definition of brotherhood. Some of the things that I've heard is the supporting of each other. So let's kind of like, if we can, let's tease this out to find out how we can support each other. How do we communicate where we'll get the response that we want or that we need? How does Fonz know what Pastor Eric is doing to know to hook up and team up? Is there a central way of communicating with each other? How do we do that? So let's say like just the 9 of us or the 10 of us. I guess I'm in somewhere. Just the 10 of us. Okay, you say to support. How do we support each other in your endeavors? How would we go about doing that?
Fonz, I'm going to start it off on this one, Fonz. So first I want to just thank Tyrone Ricks. Thank you, Tyrone, for your support and your comments. But the way to get this going is real simple. We talk to each other. I go into Ricky's office and I talk. Sometimes I vent. John Allen has become he doesn't know this, but John has become a connector for me. Every time I talk to him, I think about when I played basketball, and it's like, man, if I can only go back in time. But it's great to do that because he allows me to think back on some of the things I did when I was a kid and how I changed and got out of that. But the important thing that I think all of us here that we do, and I talk to Josh every now and then. Steve, I see you from time to time. We don't have long conversations, but I feel your energy and I feel your vibe. We have just got to stop and take a pause and just catch up. And in that catching up, things come out. And the thing that we have to get comfortable with is with each other is doing one simple thing. It's a three-letter word, and it starts with an A and it ends with a K. And that's what we got to do. We just got to ask each other what we need from one another. And that's where it starts for me. That it's as simple as that. Ask each other for what we need, how we can support each other, where we can be, and that's how we start.
Anybody else want to chime in on that? Come on, there's room for some speakers. John, what you think?
So yeah, I agree. Like I agree with Mr. Logan. Can I call you Mr. Logan for this?
You can call me James.
Oh, okay. Let me call you James. My basketball days are over, by the way. But
that's not what Juju said.
He ended it. But like for me, right? All of our kids are basketball kids, and I come here speaking from a basketball perspective. Because that's who I have direct contact with daily, right? Our basketball kids, we encourage them to be leaders, not only on the court, but off the court as well. So if we are guiding them and teaching them, as Am said, how to be men and what it looks like to be a man on the court or when they're in our presence, they can then go back to the school's community and then show the others what it's like to be a man or what it's like to be a young man. So from my point of view, we are, and all of you, I know all of you on this panel, right? You all do a great job of teaching our youth. And like I said, for me, it's just the support that we show each other, right? Like we all have our stuff going on, but the support that we can show each other, we can continue to show each other support. Ricky, we went to your event last year, which was an awesome event, right? All of you have been out to our games. If you guys can continue to show support, if we can just touch one of our kids, whether they play sports or whether they don't play sports, then that one kid that we touch may affect 15 other kids. And Mr. Logan, I know that we talked about some of the stuff that one of our kids is trying to do in the community. Rick, I talked to you a little bit about it, but that's one of the things that, empowering the kids and giving them the opportunity to do things on their own while guiding them is a way of helping them and showing them what a man can be. So let's just all continue to support each other. On our end, we always going to support all of you. And let's continue to do that.
Come on, talk to me. Hey, Hoagie, man, you almost skated through the first round. So you need to be right at the beginning of this second round. Come on, talk to me and put the food down. Step away from the plate, man. Seriously.
Bonds, why do you always do that, man?
Because I'm hungry.
I mean,
Mr.
Hello?
Hello? We're here.
Okay. I mean, it's one of those things where we as men have to become more visible for these kids to even see what it looks like. Like for me, for instance, prior to being asked to be a part of this, I'm sitting back and I'm wondering what's going on with our community. You picking up, you hearing this and you hearing that, and the question is asked. I seen James. He said we had a conversation, and it's like, what do we do? Kids need to see men. How do we now put them in a place where they could get to see men and interact with them on a daily basis so they can see this all the time? Because half of them don't see men. Like they get to see Tootie at the basketball practice, right? Then they'll leave Tootie and go home, and then what do they see? So how do we put them in a position where they get to spend more time, whereas we can help them through their process? How do we open up our lines of communication to continue to deal with them?
You have a great. Can I chime in,
please?
Because you have a great point. Like you just said, what's Tootie do when he done? Right, he has a basketball team, or Tega got a football team, or the high school. Right, let's get with the district. What they got going on, they got a whole lot going on. But Scottsfield Project got Jim, Mike Boykin right here. Right, I believe Mike, you were second in the nation in wrestling. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. At NC State. What was it?
Top 20 at NC State. Top 20, but out of high school, 4th in the country.
Yeah, a dog. This is what I'm saying. If we communicate from the top down, let's open the doors from all the head coaches, okay? Ortega, Tootie, you at the high school with the basketball. I got basketball guys training with me in the off season. You might not know that. Like, I think there's a line of communication that's just drawn when it comes from 9th grade and down. You know what I mean? Like, I think we need to open this door up, right? Hogard, you said it. Open this door up of communication from the high school level down. And this is where I'm going to piggyback on what I was saying. Josh, I know you involved with the booster. I love you. We in the community. I see you at every event. This is not going towards you. You know what I'm saying? But some other people that's involved in booster clubs don't got the same type of character and heart and true grit that we need. They're not going to take that extra mile. They don't understand what we need in that 1.9 mile radius. Man, I'm from here. This is where I grew up. I get it. So if the door gets open from the top down and head coaches talk to the youth coaches, it could be real easy. This is all a communication thing. But I think where it gets blurred is there's other clubs that get involved and they're worried about me versus us. You know what I mean? Us is always more important than me. Self-centeredness never takes priority.
I think you make a good point, but at the end of the day, those kids now go home to what? After 2 hours of, let's say, working out, after 2 hours of playing a sport, after 2 hours going to the bridge with Josh, after 2 hours of spending time with Pastor Robinson, after 2 hours of talking with Brother Miles, now they go home to what? Now we have to figure out how do we now continue to impact them after they're out of your presence for, say, at the gym working out with you. Now they go home to a whole different animal, right? So now,
oh, I know. I drop them off. I see
Right.
them nodding out on the front porch. I see everything. Trust me, I'm there every night.
Get that. So how do we now continue to tap into them after we are out of their presence or they're out of our presence? Because that's when everything that's happening in the coach field is happening, when they're not with us, when they're not with you, when they're not in front of their parents. So how do we now continue to give them the tools to stay on the straight now and be what they need to be in our community?
We got to do the best we can do when they with us and instill principles.
Yes.
Let's hear from somebody else now. Yeah. Come on, let's tackle that. Come on, Ricky, you wake up. David, you took your photo off, the video off. You're back on. Let's hear from you guys. What y'all think about what we're talking about right now?
What's the question?
Can you hear me?
That's two demerits. Hey, Josh, I put him on. He was trying to hide. You know, like on them Zoom meetings, they take the photo off, the video off. I got him. We're talking about, what are we talking about, y'all?
We're talking about, just things to do to kind of build. I think what Steve is saying is, we got to build relationships with young people. We got, Steve, I think we have to build the relationships with the parents as well, because, no one here is trying to outdo what parents are doing. Everybody, as Coach Allen said earlier, everyone has their thing, and our jobs are not to go in and be anybody's parent. But I think what's important, and again, for me, bringing back Brotherhood is, we need to be support groups. We need to be support networks. We need to augment with maybe, what parents are doing. And one of the things that, we all got to keep in mind, when kids go off to school in the morning and they come back home, let's say 3:30, and the ones that are in sports, they're coming back home even later, they only have 3, maybe 4 hours that they're spending with their parents. And I know that for a fact, because that's how it was when I was growing up. So you're not even, parents today, they're trying to reprogram or even trying to connect with some of their kids. And it's hard for them to do because they don't even see them that many hours a day. So it's really important that the parents know that there are, men like you guys out there. And I think it's important to kind of let them know that, hey, your kid is not just here to help me win a game. Your kid is here because, I'm taking a vested interest in that young man, and I want him to succeed in sports, but I also want him to succeed in life. And I think that's important. That's again, that's something that bringing back Brotherhood is about. I'm going to stop because I want to ask a question to everybody on here. So I'm just curious. We are all over 30, some 40, some 50. I mean, what have you guys seen that's different in young men, whether they are an athlete or not? What's just different about young men today, and specifically the young men that are in Coatesville? What do you guys see?
Can I say something about the parents only getting 4 hours at night with their child real quick? Because I think that is only in the suburbs. I'm talking about the single moms that I'm dealing with every day that's working 3 jobs that don't have that 3 hours. And I see 11-year-old daughters going grocery shopping for their 8-year-old brothers. Like, it's a different dynamic. I think people are missing like the actual like gutter of what we're dealing with. I look, man, maybe I'm just too involved. Maybe I'm just in it every night and what I'm going through with them. But it hits home with me when I'm there. Like, I just came home tonight. I left football practice a half hour. I still got my whistle on. I left football a half hour early to do this because I'm passionate about my guys getting shot. Why is this happening? Like, the parents that get 4 hours with their kids, God bless them. They got an advantage.
Well, Steve, what I mean by that, Steve, is I said 4 hours, 4 hours, they're just in the house together. Doesn't mean that they're connecting.
And what about but what we're dealing with is the single moms.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right.
Hey,
I know
you gotta
like
take a
what we're dealing
pause.
with is single moms that's out here trying to hold a household down, and their 13-year-old daughter is going grocery shopping for the 7-year-old son.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen,
and now we got learned behaviors coming up. All right.
Hey, Steve,
How
I need
about
to take a
oodles of
pause
noodles
for the
and
cause.
Kool-Aid? Like, I don't know. I think people is in a false reality of what's really going on, man. Like, it just hits home with me. I said it in the beginning. I'm just close to it, and it hurts. And I don't have an answer. All I know is I'm gonna give all I got to every last one of them I can do. And the people that don't show up in the city on Unity Day, the people that talk a good game on Facebook that aren't down there with us, the men on this program right now, we need to start recognizing that and calling them out on it. And we need to stop worrying about who can run let's say we got an athlete that can, Tootie, you can probably agree with me. It's hard being a coach when you got a dynamic player he's him, right? And you're dealing with some other sideline issues, and you go ahead and let him play for whatever reason, because we try and win. It's hard as coaches to hold everybody accountable at the same pace. So the very kid that's trying out for a varsity team versus the kid that's running a 4-5, they should all be held accountable the same way. That's discipline. And I believe that's the only way we're going to get through to everybody. And I believe that people that's collecting a paycheck for not doing enough should understand we're in a different demographic and you need to do more for that paycheck.
Okay, let's take a pause right here because I do like to recognize our viewers because that's kind of like who we are on here for. So we don't want to forget that they are viewing. So I'm going to go from the bottom. Nelson Ojeda has checked in. Rita Brown from Passtown. Barbara Taliaferro. I love saying her name. Of course, Kendra Wilson is here because you got quite a few viewers and they have quite a few feelings in regards to what we're doing now. Now my phone won't work. Let's go over here. Lucius Jacks. Thanks for checking in. Of course, we got Shannon Kirk, Alicia Talton. We talked about her, and we got quite a few things that people are chiming in. The mental health, things of that nature. Giovanna Wally from OIC has checked in. Okay, we kind of know what the problems are. Our situation right now, as we're talking about brotherhood, is how we can be better, how we can come together. Now, I heard that we have to come together. I don't know if I heard the hows. I don't know. Do we exchange phone numbers? Do we get an email thing going on where we contact each other and let each other know what's going on? I don't know. That's why you guys are paid the big bucks. I think before we close out, and not that I'm trying to close, because as long as we got viewers and you guys got time, it's not often that I get the community involvement that we have. You guys can't see, or maybe you can, but there's 67, 68 people online right now hanging on to your every word. And I'll stay up all night long to entertain that if I have to, because this is part of community involvement. This is what we say we want. We want to hear from them, and we want to also figure out how we as men can come together. I heard that we need to, but Pastor Robertson, how can we come together?
Yes, sir. I'm listening to us all, and obviously there is no one answer that will fix this all. A few minutes to just say this. I think it's important that we do find some kind of platform that we can stay in touch.
Right.
I don't know what that looks like. It could be emails. It could, whatever that looks like. I think it's important that we do, because what we're doing tonight, I believe, is actually starting something new. We are having these conversations, and I believe that what I'm seeing here are men who are passionate about what they do. We're not talking about people who just want popularity. All of you on here are people who dig in, roll their sleeves up to get things done. What I'm sensing, though, the unfortunate reality is we do need to come together, but it's like we're doing so much that we can't get to everything. And this is what I want to say right now to all of us. What we're doing is building a social capital. Just like there's a capitalism with money, what we're doing is building a social capital. And what social capital is just this network of like-minded who are coming together and who can kind of talk about some of the things, but it builds a wealth socially. So one of the things that let me put it this way. Y'all probably haven't come from what I've come from. But I was born and raised in Philadelphia in the projects, and social capital was like this. When my mom didn't have sugar, she would send me across the walkway and say, ask your neighbor for a cup of sugar, and I would go and get a cup of sugar. Now, maybe that didn't happen to you all, but they knew, they respected and honored my mom. And so we all depended on one another for whatever we needed. And that's what social capital is. So while some of us can't get to everything, what we do have is a likeness in our minds. Men who are, going into football this year in my church, and I saw them at the last game, and I said, hey, not only am I your pastor, but I'm going to be here with you. I want to be at the games. I want to say hello. And when they're down at the school, they're real cool, and they don't hardly want to say anything. But I make them say hi to me. I dap them up. But I said, I'm going to be at your next game. And what has to happen is now that they know my mindset, when I send them down to Coach John Allen or to the Red Raiders, when we have this mindset, we're connecting. So even though you and I can't be at everything, although we want to be, we're grinding, doing our thing. But when we have a mindset and they see, all of us coming together, and I pass them off with the same mindset, I think we are gaining more ground, and we are being surrogate kind of fathers to these young men. And it's almost as if the ball isn't dropping, but you and I, this group, have to come together and often talk about what's going on in the community. How can we better serve? How can I support you? What's going on with you? So when we're talking, now that we all have this mindset, when I pass my young man off, nothing's broken, nothing's missing. And so it's just so many layers to it. I think when we start to look at this, we've got to start to develop a like mindset. We've got to develop this mindset of, I'm going to be here as long as I can, as much as I can. I'm going to instill the right values. I'm going to be there for you. And when I pass you off to the football coach, the basketball coach, or wherever you go, they have the same mindset. So throughout the day, they are getting this kind of leadership that is pointing them in the right direction. And so I just want to say that I think that because we're having this conversation, man, we're doing the right thing with the right people. This is not just a conversation that's going to happen and the ball will drop. I'm over those conversations, but I'm talking to leaders here who understand I will roll my sleeve up on any given day and do the work. And so I commend this. I'm excited about this, but I think it starts there. When we start to have more conversations like these with the right people, we'll start to see that, man, you know what? When you go to the Bridge Academy, when you go to the Point, when you go to these places, they have like minds. While I'm not there, I know you're getting the right direction. I know you're getting the right information. And these are people, here it is, these are people who are living what they're talking about. That's my fear, that I will give my young men and women to leaders who talk one way in public, but then they live a double life and say something else. I can't, that's important to me, that they can get the right kind of moral understanding and pouring no matter where they go. And so I want to say I commend us all for this conversation. And I want to say, if we can keep this up, then and I'm saying with the right people, hear me closely with this, not just the talkers, but the doers. We keep this up, we'll find ourselves creating this capital network and this capital, social capital, that it will be invaluable because it's networking, it's plugging, it is schools, it is entrepreneur, it is the businesses, the people coming together. No matter where they go, they're going to get that Coatesville brotherhood that we're starting to develop.
Good stuff.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm taking quick calls. Okay, we got some cheers on Francine Norman and Sean Brown has checked in. Sean Brown helped Footstop get their one and only championship down at Ash Park. Sean, I appreciate you. Sister Valeria Austin has checked in. Jordan Krantz, she here for her boo. Felicia McCain, Jared Hines, Amber Little Turner, Amari Grove, Brandon Conway, Corday Green, Kevin Norman, Duke Twyman, Robert Dancer. Hey, look, for those of you who may have missed the beginning of this, do I want to call it a show? For lack of a better term, I'm going to call it a show. It will be on YouTube, so I'll send out the link. But we have 9 dynamic young men who have been sharing about brotherhood, about a vision, dreams, and goals for Coatesville. We haven't narrowed it all down. This is the first time we've used this platform to this level to address the community. So young guys back home, y'all need to cheer these brothers up, which you have been, because you are very impressed by what is being done. For those of you, you may not have seen the comments. I'm reading them and I'm trying to put them on the screen so others can see it. Pastor Robertson, there's only one word I want to take out of what you just said. You said the word if. I don't do a whole lot of ifing, okay? It's like when we do, because we gonna do. That's what I do. You know what I mean? I give it my best shot, win, lose, or draw. I got bullseyes and arrows in my back when I fall and then it failed. But I'm like a Timex watch, like Hogarth would say. I take a licking and keep right on ticking. Ain't that right, Hoagie? Now, where we at? Now, Steve, keep your passion, but we're gonna hold you down. We might have to change you down a little bit because you're ready. You're ready to rock and roll. No, I'm with you, man. I'm good. Hey, Ricky.
Hey,
yes.
I just want to go back to the question I asked the guys a little bit earlier, because it is important that, people that are listening tonight hear, from them, what they're seeing, what has changed in the young men that you guys are working with, dealing with, mentoring. What's different, because, what this is going to do is going to help. It's going to help me understand, how to kind of shape this. I'm going to, Dave and I are going to have some conversations because he's going to be doing something exciting, and I want to make sure that I can support him. But we need to know, what are you guys seeing in these young men? I mean, what is it? Attitude? Is it lack of respect? Is it
respect?
I mean, what is it?
Respect.
Matt, can I chime in? I know, Fonz, you said, Steve, calm down. Listen, but I work with them all 365. I'm with them. It's what Pastor said. I'm sorry, I haven't met you, and I don't. But you can't be hypocritical. You can't say one thing, right, and then these kids see you doing another thing in the street. You can't. Like, if you gonna talk the talk, you gotta walk it. You have to. So if I'm saying you need to work out and do this high-low program and eat right and get 9 hours of sleep a night to have success in whatever sport you are pursuing, right? They can't see me on 6th Avenue at 2 a.m. smoking. Come on, man. Look, I can't. They're not going to believe in me unless I'm doing what they doing. That's why when I say 8 a.m. on Sunday morning, I'm going to be on that hill running it. I'm 45 years old running it with them. The kids believe and they respect what they see and what they feel, right? Empathy is a strong. What I'm finding out in Coatesville, man, if you have empathy with everybody and you really living the right way and you doing what you preaching, trust me, they gonna follow you. They gonna be with you and they gonna rock out with you. However, if you are saying one thing and doing another, that's a whole different animal.
All right, now I need to hear from
Jay,
Hoagie.
Good. I'm sorry.
Let's go, Hoagie, and then that's you, John, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things for me is what I see with the young folks is respect, right? Now I'm able to talk to them because everybody knows my son, and if I say something to them, they seem to listen. But if I sit back and I observe, I think respect is one of the things that is not the same as it used to be. From when you could say something to a kid and he respected that. You say something to a kid now without having a relationship with him, right? Before you didn't have to have a relationship. All I needed to know was who you was related to,
Right.
right? And that could go a long way. Now you have to be relational with these kids to be able to say something to them. I could talk to them because my son is Asian for the sake of this conversation. So they'll listen to me. But I think respect is one of the things that I see, James Logan, that has left our youth in today's time.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Hey,
Hey,
and
hey, Fonz, I think
Go ahead.
somebody just commented low self-esteem. And
Yeah.
I agree with that. Low self-esteem. I think social media has changed the way that a lot of kids look at themselves, also look at others. So I know for a fact that these kids have low self-esteem, right? And they'll do whatever they can to make themselves popular or to raise their self-esteem, right? And some of the stuff that Steve spoke on earlier, 13-year-olds grocery shopping for their eight-year-old brother, right? That creates low self-esteem. So a lot of this stuff creates low self-esteem amongst our youth. And I don't know the solution to that. For me, simply is just, when I'm walking through the halls of the school, I'm just greeting kids with a smile and sometimes tell them how nice they look, how cool they are, whatever it is, just having a normal conversation with them, like we outside of school. Maybe that's my way of helping them overcome their self-esteem issues. But I'll tell you what, social media has changed the self-esteem of a lot of these kids. And that's part of the problem.
All right, I need to hear from Josh. Josh, you really did good. You did good this evening. You only talked once, but you're not getting away. Ricky, I need to hear more from you. I've heard enough from Steve and John and everybody else, and I appreciate y'all. No, I appreciate you, but I want everybody to be involved in this conversation. So, Vince, you and your buddy, y'all can stop hugging up over there, and you get ready to add some stuff up in there too. All right. Just start with
Hey,
you,
Mike,
Josh.
it's
Come on,
coming at
talk
you,
to us.
Mike.
I think, James, to answer your question, our kids are dealing with a lot this day and age, and it is self-esteem, it is lack of resources. They have so many more hurdles than most of the kids that live in our area to overcome. And so, um, you know, Coatesville is surrounded by wealth, and it's one of the most impoverished cities in the country, or in the state. And so, you're dealing with poverty, you're dealing with, um, you know, uh, broken homes, broken families. You're dealing with a lot of anger. Um, if a young man has to grow up raising himself and raising his siblings. I deal with a lot of young men that are angry at their dads for not being around, for never showing up, for saying they would and never came. So there's anger, there's self-esteem issues, and there's lack of hope. Man, I'm a Christian. I follow Jesus. I'm a pastor, and I think there's no hope for any one of us without Jesus in our lives and His intervention. That He's the hope of all hope for every one of these kids. But they need dads. They need our churches and our pastors to step up. They need presence. They need a listening ear, because nobody's listening to them, and they're so stuck up in their cell phones that they're not talking to anybody. So that all the anger and the self-esteem and the brokenness is all pent up inside. They got nobody to talk to about it. Our school district doesn't have resources, and so we're sending them to school with a little bit of structure, but our schools can't meet the needs that the kids have. And so there's so many odds that are against them. So a kid is already starting out in this community, with way more hurdles than anybody else. And then you take out positive mentorship, you take positive influences, you take out friendships, you take out churches, you take out community leaders, and they're starting somewhere that they're not meant to start. A young person's not meant to start where these kids are starting. And so we have to deal with that. And it starts by showing up and meeting them where they're at. It starts with listening. It starts with caring for them, and beginning to see their attitudes change. But if we don't listen to them and hear from them, if we don't show up and go where they are, because they might not come to us. We have the Bridge Academies open every night, and sometimes we got to pull teeth to get kids out. Even if you have a great program, even if you have a great basketball team, kids just don't come out to things. You have to go where they are. Um, and so we gotta meet them where they're out at, hear from them, and begin to care about what the things that they care about. And we just need to show up. We need to show up and earn the right to be heard. There's a lot of adults, and this is no criticism, but there's a lot of adults that have a lot of opinions, that uh, the kids don't respect because they've never seen you and they've never heard from you, and unless something bad happens. And so we need to be proactive. I'm tired of going to funerals of young men that in our community, um, and it's not normal. It shouldn't be a normal. We shouldn't be accustomed to it. It shouldn't be a normalcy. Our hearts shouldn't be cold to it, and it's not okay. And unless we start to take those things serious, um, we're going to continue on the same path, and we're not going to give these kids a hope, an answer, and a future to look forward to. And so it's more than a conversation on a Zoom call or whatever, and it's more than the programs that we have. It is supporting one another, but it's going where they're at, and it's filling in those gaps that every other kid. I shouldn't say every other kid. A lot of kids have problems, but so many other kids have so many more resources. So we have to go the extra mile to fill in those gaps because of where they're starting in the community, in the home, in the school, and filling those gaps.
Thanks a lot. Hey Rick, man, you done took a break for the most of this most of this conversation. Come on, man, talk to us.
All right, I think everybody has said, what needs to be said. And like I said in the beginning, I believe that all the influential individuals who are impactful with the youth are on here. And just to piggyback off of what Josh said, you do have to meet them where you are. So I think the main component in this whole conversation is this: it's the youth. We're talking about us bringing back brotherhood and all that, but the main component is the youth because that's what we're ultimately here for. So, in regards to the youth, we need to allow them to meet them where they're at. And what I mean by that is, and I don't want to steal John's thunder, and maybe he can elaborate on it because I don't know if it's too early to talk about yet. But we had a conversation about one of the young youth organizing something. And as that young person will get to organize something, youth will come. And then you will have the component of what Josh just said. You meet them where they're at. So I don't know, Tootie, if you're at liberty to talk about that tonight, but I think that's really the catalyst that we need to talk about, because at the end of the night, it is about the youth. And with the youth absent right now, we can sit here and go back and forth all night. We're not going to solve anything because the answer is in them. So, Jan, I don't know if you can talk about that. If you can't, it's fine. But
no, of course I can talk about it. So we actually going to have a talk with James on Friday. But one of our players, Dior, came up to us and he wanted to do something at Ash Park with the TikToker, and all the kids are on. They on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, and he asked the kid that got like 1 million followers or something, and they have like a park takeover. They come and they play basketball, and they have like a park takeover. And for me, I immediately said yes without even knowing what it was, because for him to even call me and say, "This is what I want to do," was a step forward. So I told him I would help guide him in any way I could, but I wanted to empower him to run the event. So we're going to have a talk with James Logan, and he'll market the event. He'll do everything that goes along with the event. We'll just be there to guide him, and we expect a huge turnout from kids, right? Teenagers and young men and women. And young ladies. So we expect a lot of people in the community, not only our community, but in other communities to come, and we get a chance to highlight, Ash Park, or we get a chance to highlight not only what we have in Coatesville as a physical park, but we get a chance to highlight the people of Coatesville, because I think we get a bad rap. We get a bad rap, and we got a lot of good things going on. We got a lot of good things happening with our kids. So I really want to guide him and help guide him to what it is that he wants to do. And we won't let him fail. We will make sure that he has every resource that he needs, and we'll move forward like that. But we want to highlight our kids, and we want to highlight everything good that's happening here in Coatesville. And I believe that's where the change will start.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
And can I jump back in here real quick?
Sure.
I just want, and this will be my final comment. I know we're talking about the youth and we're dealing a lot with the youth, and I know a lot of y'all are influential with the sports. And this isn't a shameless plug, but it's just fact. The sports are important, and the sports industry is a good thing because the kids gravitate to basketball and football. But one of the things that I want to mention tonight, and one of the things that I want to bring out, and I can't see who's watching or who's listening, but one of the things that I do want to bring out, that there are other organizations in the city beyond sports, right? And I love sports. I'm a sports guy. But I'm the co-founder, I am the co-founder of Children of Men, which is an organization where the youth are gathered, and John spoke about it a little bit earlier, where we shape and mold the minds of the youth and introduce them to the trades industry. So that's plumbing, carpentry, electric, HVAC, masonry, all of the trades industry. We pile them into one thing, and we get our youth 2 times a week and introduce them to the trades. Because let's be honest, everybody's not going to be Richard Hamilton on the basketball court. Everybody's not going to be Derek Morgan on the football court. So as we come together, that's how we can all work together. We can work as a feeder program. Brandon Jacks has the young kids, and he feeds the program up, and eventually John Allen will get them. Well, in the mix of that, there's kids that just don't play sports. And if you don't play sports, that's okay. But there are other things that the kids can do, like Children of Men, which is an introductory to trades. We meet 2 times a week. And what we do is we do different things, like I just stated, plumbing, carpentry, electric, HVAC. And that is a skill that can't be taken away. So that's where my passion is in the trade and in the houses and all of that. Y'all know me for that and properties. But that's how we're dumping back into the youth. And as this goes, we feed people and we feed the youth into the sports. So like Steve said earlier, we are working together, and you might not even know it and realize it. But what's happening is I'm not going to set up a youth activity with the kids that are active in the trades industry and that are working with myself and Doc when I know that there's a football game going on. So we try to avoid those things. Just like with Brandon Jacks for the Summer League basketball. He went through the summer and he made sure that he made it a point to stop when football started. So I think we're all kind of working together. And as we work together, we can continue to do that, but we can also introduce them to things that aren't sports, because that's my passion. A lot of you already know, and a lot of you already know because a lot of your kids are involved in it. But for those parents who don't know about it, there is something for you, and there is something that you can do and have. So that's my last little spiel and my final thought.
Let me jump in while I have all these people on here, because hopefully you will tune in tomorrow night, because I've heard quite a few of you mention about the good things that are happening in Coatesville. Tomorrow night on City Town Talk, I'm doing a recap of all the things that I can think of that has been going on in our community in a positive fashion that has had impact. I mean, I got Scott Field, the Scott program. I got that. We're Children of Men. We're giving everybody kudos, and with as much explanation I can of what it is that you have done this year, because people need to hear the positive stuff. Because like you there, Pastor Robinson, I'm from Philadelphia. I've never seen so much good stuff happen in 1.9 miles in my life.
Right.
And I'm from the cities. You dig? Now, I
Right.
ain't saying they don't do a lot of stuff in the city, but it's spread out. And 1.9 miles, the good stuff that Coatesville is doing is tripping over each other. Now, there's work to be done, but tomorrow is about saying what has been done and what's going to be done. So for you listeners, I want you to have the same energy that you're having tonight to listen. Prayerfully, it will impact your vision of our city. And we can kind of like stop with the we ain't got, we don't have, and start being grateful for what we do have and build onto that. And then when God blesses us with the little and we're grateful for the little, He will open up doors and you'll have the stuff that you could never even imagine. So that's the mission for tomorrow. So yeah, I'm putting all of y'all on blast. So if you was trying to do something in private because you don't want nobody to give you recognition, it ain't going to work. Because I'm putting everybody out there that I know that's doing something positive. That's right, Josh. I got y'all down there, block party and all that stuff you're doing. Yeah, I got you. And that's what I'm talking about. Vince, everybody. So that's the show for tomorrow. I'm gonna stop filibustering, and look, I'm still here. If y'all are tired, you can tune out, panelists. But if not, if James, do you want to open up another question? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We need to do this again. Are y'all in agreement with that?
100%.
Yeah.
All right. So we got one thing we agreed on.
Yeah.
You know what else I think? I think we need some kind of homework. Now, I ain't no teacher. Don't get me wrong. But I think we need to have something that we solve that we're going to do. I think they call it an action step. You know, you people that's organizers and do all that stuff, y'all be having action steps, what we're going to do next. I think we need somebody like Josh, you be organizing all that bridge. What should we do next? Now, definitely a platform, but what should we come to the table with as far as maybe even if it's not called a solution, how about a concern? How about something that we want to attack and make, even if it's nothing but making a date for a meeting place? I don't know the answer. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but we need to come up with something. We don't want to let this fade into the night. You know what I mean? So now talk to me. We're going to do this again. Of course, we can send out invites, but let's bring something to the table when we meet again and not just keep talking like we're talking right now and these broad generalities, which we can do until the end of time. You understand what I'm saying, James?
Yeah. So Fonz, you may not.
I think one of the things that will be a good accomplishment is if we have everyone's email.
Well, just to kind of share with everyone. So there is an actual kind of a plan for this, and what I like to do is get the gentlemen that are on this particular call tonight, reconvene, hear a little bit from you guys, a little bit more. What are some of the, let's just say, top 5 things that you all think that we should be doing in the community as efforts to bring back brotherhood, and from there, a lot of people have been kind of chiming in. What are the next steps and where should we meet? We are not going to let grass grow under our feet on this. We're going to have something. I want to do something in the next 2 or 3 weeks if we can. But the first step is to get everyone back that's on this panel in a room face to face, and let's talk about what the next steps are going to be. Oftentimes people they comment on the action steps, but they don't have a strategy to get there. And then they just kind of fall short of achieving whatever that particular goal is. I think what we should do is we should think seriously about what we want to do. There's a lot of young men out here that need our support, and we need to come and bring it the right way. And so that's how I would like to present this. And anyone out there that's either on this panel or not, these doors are going to be open here at City Hall. We don't have to meet here at City Hall. We can meet anywhere. But I think what's important is that we take stock in all of the men in this community. There's a guy named Roderick Jones that's not on the call tonight. At least I don't see him. That he's the guy that can lend some wisdom to this group. So we have men out there that we just need to think about. We need to reach out to them, and we need to shape this in a way that it's going to have some longevity to it, and it's going to be here after we go.
Sounds like a plan. Hey, you gentlemen that's on this panel, this platform, City Town Talk, is for you. And for the viewers who are out there, this City Town Talk isn't for me, it is for y'all. If you are a person of interest, if there's something you'd like to share, if there's a business you want to start, if there's a program, whatever, it's for you. And as long as you're not disrespectful and talk out the side of your neck, this platform is for you. All you got to do is say, Fonz, this is what I want to do. And we're going to make a show centered around what it is. Matter of fact, everybody on here has been on, yeah, everybody on here has been on my show. So for you viewers, they're special, but they ain't that special that they the only ones that can get on here. Y'all are special. Your dreams, your goals, your vision, your aspirations, your concerns is important. So you come on and you let the city know how you feel about some stuff, once again, with respect. But it's about positivity. Like Steve said, it ain't about complaining, because that's not what I do. That's not what MCDC does. The people that complain, we don't have them in our program. We don't care who dropped the ball. We're trying to pick up the ball, dribble it, and see if we can't make a goal. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But we learned from Michael Jordan, nobody has missed more shots than Michael Jordan, and he wound up being the greatest basketball player ever. So we don't get flustered about failures. We're going to take a licking and keep right on ticking. And that's for you members out there in the community. If you need us, me, call us. Call me. They're all here for you. All them guys up there, they ain't going to tell you no. They just ain't gonna do it. They ain't even got it in them. That's probably why they had the headaches and the stress that they got, because they can't say no. So use us, and that's all I got. I think this has been a good meeting. I don't think we want to. And plus, I haven't eaten yet. I want to air fry some chicken wings. Is that okay with everybody?
Hey, Fonz.
Oh
Just
Lord,
one
one
thing.
more thing, huh?
Well, I just want to tell everyone or share with everyone, this is not, for those of you who think this is a city-driven type of program, this is not. This is something that has nothing to do with the city of Coatesville. It has nothing to do with this administration. This is about what we're talking about tonight, and that's bringing back brotherhood. So I am not the leader of this group. I am just one of many contributors. Vincent Miles and I, we talk about things like this all the time. And it is not about, as Ricky said a little bit earlier, it's not about anybody's title. It's not about any status. This is just about people getting together and doing the right thing. So I just want to make that very clear to everyone that this is not about City of Coatesville's administration. This is just about people coming together for the right thing. And I really appreciate, Fonz, you giving us the opportunity to do this. I appreciate all the young men that are on this call tonight. I do want to say to Coach Allen, who said he doesn't TikTok, I could have sworn I saw you on one of those calm down videos. But maybe it wasn't you, Coach.
I don't have an account, but I tend to make TikTok, but I don't have an account.
Yeah, I appreciate all you guys. Thanks very much.
Hey, gentlemen, I want to say thank you. All my viewers, I want to say thank you. And look, I always close with one way, and that's for me. If nobody's told you that they love you today, man, I certainly love you.
Oh
You
man,
need
love
to
you too,
know
Mr.
that.
Fonz. Yep.
Remember, Coatesville's rising, and then I always say, peace out.
Hey, hold on, Mr. Fonz. One more thing.
One more thing. Come on. I told you I
One
need to
more
air fry my
thing.
chicken wings. Come on.
Hey,
I got you.
it's appropriate, at least for this setting, to end in prayer.
Okay.
So if anyone want to take the stand and pray.
You said it. Go ahead, rock with
Yeah,
it.
you
We got
good.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got
You
it.
got it.
Well, if
You got it,
if
Vincent.
all hearts and minds are clear, dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this most excellent opportunity to be on this platform and stand amongst my brothers here to look for solutions to bridge the gap between our brothers at large within the city of Coatesville. I just pray in the name of Jesus that we're able to heal the rift and the void that's between all of us, whether they're online or listening in or not even privy to what's going on. Let's just eradicate that, Lord. Any type of barriers that's in our way to make this happen, Lord. I pray for all of our families that are in the midst, and let's just get it done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Have a great night, everybody. And yes, this will be on YouTube. I'll put this on your pages, all you panelists, in case you aren't happy if you don't have it. And we'll just do it like that. Man, thank y'all, man. I really appreciate y'all because an hour and a half out of your time, I know how precious that is because I know all that y'all do. So take care. God bless, man. And we'll talk soon, okay?
Have a good night.
All right,
Have a good night.
Love you all.
See y'all.